Donald Trump has said that the reason he's so keen to bring peace around the world is, well, he wants to go to heaven. Have a listen.
We're not losing American soldiers. We're losing Russian and Ukrainian, mostly soldiers. Some people, as missiles hit wrong spots or get lobbed into cities. If I can save 7,000 people a week from being killed, I think that's a pretty. I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well.
Donald Trump wants to go to heaven. I mean, in a lot of ways, that's an admirable thing. This man is 79 years old. He's realizing, kind of late probably, that he's got more days behind him than he's got ahead of him. And he's trying to do good deeds here on earth so that he can possibly enter heaven because he hears he's not doing too well. Now, I don't know if that means on the ledger of being able to go to heaven, he's not doing too well, or if he has learned something about his health, that means he's not doing too well. Either way, it isn't a bad thing to be thinking about, especially when you've reached the age of 79 years old. Hey, I can't say whether or not Donald Trump is going to heaven because I don't have the power to judge in this situation. But there's a person who does. That person is Jesus himself. Now, no, I'm not about to interview Jesus here, but the good thing about Jesus is that the things that he thought the most about, that he shared with his disciples prior to his death at a very young age, Jesus told them how he felt about certain things. And he had no shortage of opinions on whether or not a person like Trump could enter the kingdom of heaven. And we're going to the New Testament where Jesus' story is told because they claim to be Christians, and Christianity, the core principles are in the New Testament. Yes, the Old Testament is important, and I can go back there and dig some things up if you like. But if you claim to be a Christian, you are a follower of Christ, and Christ had his opinions. So, one of the most well known stories about rich people entering heaven, it was a rich young man. He came up to Jesus and he said, "Hey, what must I do to inherit eternal life? I keep all the commandments. I am a good dude. So, what should I do?" Jesus told him, "Hey, if you want to be perfect, go sell all your possessions, sell everything that you got, all your riches, give that stuff to the poor. That's how you stockpile favor in heaven." And he said, "Then, after you've passed out all of your riches, come back and follow me." And Jesus watched that young man walk away, and he knew that that man was sad. His heart was broken because he knew he could not do it. He could not part with his wealth and follow Jesus right here on earth. He wanted to have his cake and eat it too. And Jesus said, this is like that famous quote: "It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven." That pretty much says it all. But because, and it says it all to me, because this is a person who kept all of the commandments according to them, according to themselves. They kept all the commandments in the Old Testament. The one thing that he could not do is separate himself from his wealth. Then was the story that Jesus told where he talked about a rich man, and this was like a parable. So this was a story to illustrate, like an analogy. So anyway, he was talking about this rich man who he had a big farm and his crops had done better than expected. So this rich man was like, "Shoot, I'm going to tear down all the barns that I got right now and build bigger ones to store up all of these crops that, the excess of crops. And then I can take life easy from here on out. I don't have to work so hard because I got all this extra crops." That very night, God came to him and said, "You are going to die tonight. Now, what's going to happen to all your crops when you're dead? You can't eat it when you're dead, right? So it's basically saying, don't be greedy. You have enough for yourself. You spread the rest around, right? This is not just uh, talking about a rich man and his ability to enter the kingdom of heaven. It's talking about greed and how greed will keep you out of heaven. Now, the last story I'm going to share from the New Testament was when Jesus was telling a parable about the rich man and Lazarus. Now, this parable is the story of this one man, the rich man, who lived a lavish life, and he had a huge estate. And on the outside of his estate was a man named Lazarus, and Lazarus was poor and he was in bad health. He was a beggar. He laid outside this rich man's gates. Well, anywho, both of them eventually die, as people do. Both of them eventually die. And Lazarus, the poor man outside the gate, was welcomed into heaven. Everybody was waiting, and here comes Lazarus, y'all. Woo! Lazarus was the man in heaven. Now, the rich man, he got some lakeside property. It's unfortunate that the lake was the lake of fire. He went to hell. And the question was, like, why did I go to hell? Why? I was rich. I had this lavish life. I was better than Lazarus. Why did I go to hell? Story is basically that cautionary tale, because that rich man could look from his window probably and see Lazarus out there suffering, and he did nothing to help him. This is a story about being accessible and helping the poor or the people who are less off than you. This is a story about wealth hardening your heart. That is what happened to the rich man. Because his heart was hardened, he gets to spend his time down there roasting in the lake of fire, while Lazarus lives a comfortable afterlife in heaven. In essence, in all three of these stories, Jesus wasn't saying that having money or being rich is the sin. It is what you do once you're wealthy. Do you hold yourself, you esteem yourself as pretty much a god? Do you help the poor? Do you put all your trust in the fact that you've got all of this stuff amassed? Those are the core reasons why a rich person will not be able to enter the kingdom of heaven. It is simply because they cannot part with their wealth. They do not use their wealth to help anybody but themselves. They put all of their trust in the fact that they're wealthy, and they don't do anything to help the poor. Now, this is not saying that there isn't a rich man that might be able to make it to heaven. Pretty sure there are. Is Donald Trump the rich man that's going to make it to the kingdom of heaven? That's the question. It's a question that he's going to have to ask himself. He has had an opportunity. He's had 79 long years of being wealthy, of being the top dog. Did he follow all of the commandments? Did he give to the poor? Did he put all his trust in amassing more and more wealth? I can't answer that question for Donald Trump. Only he knows his heart. Besides, of course, Jesus, only he knows his heart. But I'm pretty sure what a lot of you guys are thinking. A lot of you guys have a thought, and that thought is,